Right, 15 June 2025, and today I'm excited to be giving you the evening update, and that follows our update in the afternoon, where we talked about a lot, and I'm happy that most of you have seen the letter that we wrote to the chiefs. So the chiefs on the protest, and I've had quite a number of calls from around the country of support. However, I want to unpack what is going to happen. This is going to be the most important activity that is going to take place in Zimbabwe, which is to stop corruption and to get development into our country. So currently, our country is not developed. Zimbabwe is not doing well. And this is because the people that are running our country have got no interest. They've got none of our interests at heart. However, they are corrupt business people that are causing the problem in Zimbabwe, or what we call regime sponsors. So particularly, Tagwirei has been a constant feature inside of the Zimbabwe governments. That is the current government and the past government of Mnangagwa. Tagwirei has been there throughout. And we need to challenge him. We need to challenge Tagwirei, not only at the level of the road from Victoria Falls to Bulawayo and then to Beitbridge, but at the level of what Tagwirei has come to represent. Tagwirei has come to represent some of the biggest corruption and failures in Zimbabwe. And many people don't know how to confront someone like Tagwirei because they just don't have the capacity to do so. What Tagwirei needs is a national effort. So that is everyone coming together and confronting him and not stopping, because he's capable of sponsoring people and buying them. He's capable of smiling and looking like he's doing something good when he's stealing from you. So people like Tagwirei, they capture the state, they capture everybody. And if they can't capture you, they arrest you and they throw you in jail. So that is the danger. That is people like Tagwirei. You saw what is happening with the cars. So if you look at Wicknoch, he's dishing out cars left, right, and center. And people are clamoring to get a car from Wicknoch. These cars are partly coming from Tagwirei. And if you see Wicknoch standing behind Mnangagwa, very close like that, that means he is part of the regime sponsors. They buy and make you think, if only I can get $1 million from Wicknoch, if only I can get a car from Wicknoch, like what happened to Ja Preza. If only I can get a car from Wicknoch, like what happened to Mai Charamba. If only I can get a car from Wicknoch, like what happened, whoever, you can put a name to it. Anyone who got a car from Wicknoch, that is Ruben Barwe. If you're a journalist, you'll be thinking, if I'm a good boy, I'm going to get a car from Wicknoch. So you start to think that success comes from being given a car. And that is how it goes. There's corruption all around. Our country is destroyed and nothing functions. However, in the case of Tagwirei, we've got a big problem because he has captured every sector of the economy. That is banking, oil and gas, energy, and now construction. Tagwirei is now a part of everything, and everything that Tagwirei touches collapses. So Lafarge Cement, Kaya Cement has collapsed. And yesterday I told you that Tagwirei is giving back the license for Founders Building Society, Intermarket Building Society, or ZB Building Society. They're giving back that license. They buy something and they strip it and they use the cash and run away. Similarly, all the roads that Tagwirei has started have not completed. The Masvingo to Beitbridge to Harare Road, You drive, and after a while, there's no road. You go for 20 kilometers, you drive on a road, then you drive again, and there's no road. This is well known. Many people have died on this road. It's got so many potholes, especially soon after Bedbridge. I drove a new car there, and we lost an engine. Like when we drove a car, it was new when we came from South Africa. By the time we got from Masvingo, there was a red light on the engine because of the constant bumps. Last time I went to Kariba, you saw me. We were driving. Our tire was slashed by the road just on the way to Chirundu. Our tires were slashed by the corners of the road, which is sharp. That road is not fixed. If you go to Mbudzi interchange, they've not finished. If you go to anything that is they are constructing, it's not finished. At Mbudzi interchange, there was an accident there where a crane tipped over and killed someone. And there are multiple accidents that have happened there, resulting in the site being closed. We have multiple problems with Tagwirei now on the Victoria Falls Road, where we don't know how they got the tender. We don't know why so many companies with the same owners and directors are in the same tender. And also, the same companies that are not finished on the Chirundu side are also not finished on the Masvingo side, are now being granted the tender to work on the Victoria Falls side. Masimba Construction, Fossil Contracting, Tensor Systems, all these companies belong to Tagwirei. Tagwirei is also busy with the title deeds, the land tenure system. So you can clearly see that we have a problem. However, our stakeholders don't seem to understand. So if you go to Bulawayo, people don't understand that they have a right to benefit from tourism. So if you're in Bulawayo, you have got a right, just because you live in Bulawayo, to benefit from the toll gates around you. You've got a right to benefit from the money from tourism. So when tourists pass through Bulawayo, you automatically have a right to benefit from those tourists. So at the moment, we have a problem where our stakeholders believe that they don't own the resources around them. That is why our country is not doing well. Our country is going to do well when our communities have a stake in what is happening. What Tagwirei is doing and what Mnangagwa is doing is to dispossess our communities. Our communities don't understand, our MPs don't understand, our councillors don't understand. If you go to a councillor and say, you are a councillor at Dete or at Wange, what's happening with the road that is being built? They don't know. The road is just passing. They don't understand their portion of how they represent the community. So that is what we're trying to do right now. We want development to come back to our country. We don't want a road. So let me explain to you what's wrong with the road. A road is nothing because a road goes nowhere. So you can see that Tagwirei right now has started moving equipment on this road. They are creating what are called detours. So what is a detour? A detour is temporary place where you pass so that your road can be fixed while you are on the detour. In 1980, in fact 1979, the Yugoslav government brought all their prisoners to Zimbabwe to build the Bulawayo Mutare Road. If you know what I'm talking about and were in that place during that time, the prisoners would not be allowed out of the area where they were working. So they would work on the road, and then in the evening, they'll put them in the camps. When they finished, they took all the prisoners that they brought and they took them back to Yugoslavia. Do you guys know that? That is what happened. So that is 1979. And I was just a young boy. I think I was in grade 1 or 2 at that time. And our communities, what they got was a job to drive. So we had an uncle who used to drive those big trucks. They teach him how to drive this thing and how to tip soil over. And then the road was nice. The road was finished. But do you know what was wrong? There was nothing, there was no services. There was no filling station. There was no clinic. There was no lights. There was no internet. So when they built that road, the road was not built for the people. The road was built for the destination. So if you're going to Mutare, you go on your bus and you pass the villages. That is how a road was built. What we are saying to Tagwirei is that you are a local. You are not a Yugoslav prisoner. So we're trying to tell Tagwirei that you are not a Yugoslav prisoner. So when you build a road, you don't build a road to pass a place. When you build a road, you have arrived. So when you are building a road at Wange, you have arrived where the road is going. Do you understand, Tagwirei? When you build a road, you are not building a road to Victoria Falls. You are building a road to Wange. You are building a road to Mapisa. You are building a road to Ngai. You are building a road to that place where you are going. When you arrive there, there must be something happening. That's what we're telling Tagwirei, and he doesn't understand it. Tagwirei thinks his job is to create a nice road for tourists to drive all the way from Victoria Falls to Bulawayo and then to Bedbridge. So he doesn't get it. Tagwirei doesn't understand. So we're making him understand. And I'm sure that his eyes are opening. You are getting what is called a moment of truth. Tagwirei, you didn't know what we're telling you. Mnangagwa doesn't know. When you build the Mbuzi interchange, you're not building a road so that people can pass by. To develop a country, you build things around infrastructure. So you must put something around your infrastructure. What you're seeing here, Mbuzi interchange, is a baby. It's like a baby did this thing. He doesn't understand. When you're getting to Mbuzi interchange, you have arrived. You understand? You have arrived at Mbuzi. You are now there. So where there's that little space there, there must be a filling station there. There must be some shopping complex on the left. There must be something on the right, because you have arrived. The problem with Tagwirei, he doesn't get it. He thinks when he's building a road, he's just building a path. That's why our country doesn't develop. And that's what's wrong with Tagwirei. There must be rail. Who is going to fix that rail? Right next there to the road. Are you planning for the rail when you're doing your earthworks, which is right next to the rail? Are you also doing the repairs? That's what we want to see in a contract. We don't want to see someone who thinks in a narrow way. We want a broad thinking. And that is why this thing must stop right now. What Tagwirei is doing must stop and must include the community. The communities of Matabeleland are very poor. We went to Victoria Falls. The poverty that is in Victoria Falls is shocking. And in Wange, it's shocking. It's unbelievable how much poverty is there. We went to the Wange Road District Council. I sent my guys there to talk to the people at the Wange Road District Council. I am so shocked about the way of thinking that these guys have got. When we bring people from Harare, they need to open the community to opportunities. So let me give you the example of if your tire pops and you are driving between Bulawayo and Vic Falls. If your tire pops there and it's at night, you are dead. Animals will kill you and you won't see any other cars coming to help you. There is no help. There is nothing. There's no telephone. There's nothing. If the same thing happens to you and you had a breakdown on the road in a modern country, there's a telephone on the side, there are cameras. That road is only 330 kilometers. That is like going Pretoria, Johannesburg, Pretoria, Johannesburg, Pretoria, Johannesburg, 3 times. Do you understand what I'm saying? Guys who stay in Johannesburg, it's 60 kilometers between Pretoria and Johannesburg. If you go Pretoria, Johannesburg, Pretoria, Johannesburg, Pretoria, Johannesburg, you're done. That road, Pretoria, Johannesburg, has got lights, and it's got 8 lanes on the right, 8 lanes on the side. What are we saying? We don't want the way of thinking that Mugabe had. Mnangagwa, when he came, his only problem, Mnangagwa, is he's not thinking big. I always say this. Mnangagwa's vision is very small. That is the problem. But Mnangagwa is basically on the right direction in terms of infrastructure. So let me tell you what Mnangagwa has done here. I lived on both sides of this interchange. So I lived on the left, I lived on the right, I lived here on the left side behind here. And when they've put this interchange here, what they've done is, if they could have done it quicker, it was going to be okay. And if they done it on budget and then they put services. What Mugabe would do, Mugabe would go on the road that was existing, and he would call Peter Pamire, and he would call Philip Chiangwa, and he would say, Philip Muzukuru, come and put a bridge here. And Philip Chiangwa and Peter Pamire, they took almost 3 years to cover a hole like this. This hole, it was this size. The hole was this size. It waterfalls. So as we're passing by waterfalls, you couldn't cross the bridge. It was not dual. So Chiangwa and Pamire were supposed to build that bridge. So they didn't build the bridge. They couldn't cover that little gap. I don't know what was stopping them. You know, the little bridge, as you go to Houghton Park, there, they couldn't close that bridge. So for years, 3 years, people would use the little road, and there was so much traffic there. They had no vision. The problem with Mnangagwa is he's got the right direction, but he lacks the size. Mnangagwa lacks size. So he doesn't know how to go big and how to make the economy bigger. So you see that everything that Mnangagwa does is going to end in the air. So Mnangagwa, it's like you're driving and then you get to a cliff and nothing to stop you, just go down. That's the problem with Mnangagwa. But we have to bring this to a stop. There are very many smart people in Zimbabwe. I have personally audited, when I came to South Africa here, I was in information security in Zimbabwe. So I was probably the first information security manager of a bank in Zimbabwe. That was in 2001. So when I came to South Africa, I immediately got access to many, many banks. So I audited many, many banks, like 20 or 30 companies on the JSE. So I've got a place, I find Zimbabweans. I go to a place, I find Zimbabweans. And what I realized is Zimbabweans are very smart. But Zimbabweans lack one thing. Zimbabweans don't want to take a risk. So if you give a Zimbabwean a job and you say, today you're going to earn $10,000, that's your salary. They're going to sit at that job. They would earn their salary. And if you tell them, don't open a tuck shop, we'll fire you, they won't open a tuck shop. So they don't take risks. And then when they're fired, a guy was earning 10,000, the next day earns nothing. So what is the result? The result is anyone who's doing business in Zimbabwe right now is what we call the person with no choice. So take, for example, Tagwirei. Tagwirei has never been out of Zimbabwe. That's my understanding. Maybe I might be wrong. He has always been in Zimbabwe. Tagwirei benefited from the lack of petrol in Zimbabwe. And therefore, his business mindset is the mindset of benefiting from a crisis. He cannot grow. He cannot grow something new. You will never see Tagwirei creating a new company. Take all of Tagwirei's companies. They are not new. He has either bought it, he either got it, he either inherited it, he was handed the company or something. from the government. There's no tender or thing that Tagwirei ever does with a private company. You also never see Tagwirei giving an opportunity to anybody. So you will never create a company for or an innovation center or what, nothing to benefit anyone. Go and check if there is a Tagwirei Foundation. It's going to bring you some maize, like it did yesterday. He's going to do one thing or this at the church, a donation. He is the kind of guy that wants to be seen giving himself. So he's not going to create an opportunity for you. It reminds me of this one. Do you see her? Do you think she'll ever create a foundation where you actually leave something when she's not there? So these two are the same. They will create something that will only work when they're there. When they're gone, it's gone. So it's not like they are going to create for you. They are creating for themselves. They want you to become part of their thing. They want you to say, Vatagwirei vakatipa dollar. Or Auxilia says, Mai vakatipa a test, a test of cervical cancer or whatever. But she'll never follow up to say, now that you got cervical cancer, what is happening with your health? Mark my word, no one who has ever been tested by Auxilia has ever seen her again. You will never see her. Same with Tagwirei. No one who ever got a bag of maize from Tagwirei is ever going to see him again. That's what we want to change. We don't want that system. It's a rotten system. We want a country that develops. And you develop your country from the grassroots. How do you develop a country from the grassroots? You make people able to produce. And then when they produce, you give them a way to take their produce to the market. How do you take your produce to the market? If you are at Ngai, if you are at Dete, if you are at Wange, right now there is not a single cabbage farmer in Victoria Falls. So cabbages are coming from Harare by road. And by the time they get to Victoria Falls, they are 3 times the cost. Do you know how much land is there between Bulawayo and Vic Falls? You understand how much it is? How much land is there? Do you understand what's happening with the Gwai Shanghai Dam? Do you understand what's happening with the Matabele and Zambezi water project? Guys, the things I'm telling you here, that is why our country is not developing. That's why Matabele land is so far behind. And I'm talking about Matabele land because the biggest opportunity in our country is in Matabele land. Currently, half of the wealth from Zimbabwe is coming from Bulawayo. The gold mines around Bulawayo are producing the majority of the money that is going into the Reserve Bank of Zimbabwe. Ask Uyo John Mshavan, where is the gold coming from? The areas around Bubi, the areas around Bulawayo, there is so much gold coming out of Matabele and South, to the extent that almost all the gold now that is coming into the Reserve Bank is coming from those areas. However, there is no one within that area who is benefiting. And if you could make it that whoever does work inside of a region must develop that region, then you will see what I'm talking about. It's going to be amazing. Look at Nyanga. Right, what is in Nyanga? What exactly do they make? Some macadamia, some tea, some what? Some grass, some beans, some avocados. It's nothing compared to what's coming out of Matabele land. Matabele land is the richest region in our country. Without a doubt, there is no region right now which is as rich as Matabele land. And it's well known. So it is well known that Matabele land is the richest region. In fact, the tourism that is coming out of Matabele land North, at Vic Falls, at Binga, at Bulawayo, at Matopos, you can go all the way up to, you go to Bedbridge, the biggest border, inland border in the country. So the problem is, these guys are building a road to Harare. So when they go to Bedbridge, they build a road to Bulawayo. They build a road to Harare. They are not concerned about the local. Hence, the hotel that was built by NASA at Bedbridge is closed. That is the biggest hotel of Rainbow, is closed. The Holiday Inn is closed. Did you know that the two biggest hotels have closed? Did you know how many tourists used to come and sit and live at that hotel, at Holiday Inn? I used to drive into the border and I sleep over there every night. Then one night, and then I'll go to Bulawayo. I will never drive at night. So we need to change the way we do things. You need to focus on the local. And then you move away so that when someone is moving from Hwange, at Hwange, they are not going to Hwange to pass, but they've got activities at Hwange. So the local person must have a hotel there. You must have a Holiday Inn, a Hilton, a Sun Hotel. Then you drive another 100 kilometers. You have an event. You have the Gwaishangani there. You have things happening there. The road must not just go to Harare. It must turn into Gwaishangani. You must have a community there. You go to the areas around. And when you construct your road, it is designed. At the moment, Tagwirei has not designed the road. What he's going to do is he's going to cut some trees on the left, cut some trees on the right, put some soil and cover it with black tar. And it's done. He gets paid. And then he puts a toll gate, collects money for the next 25 years. So this road is going to be there for 25 years. Tagwirei is going to collect for 25 years. He's going to take out of the tender that they've got now. Let's say for each 50 kilometers, each one gets 50 million. They are going to take 10 million and give it to whoever they give. Then they are going to give another to another person. And Tagwirei goes away and you pay him for the toll gates for 20 years. However, that's not what we want. What we want is community, what is lacking. Because you are a Zimbabwean, you are not a Yugoslav. You understand? You are not from Yugoslavia. If you are from Yugoslavia, you want to make the road and go away as quickly as possible. Tagwirei, you take your university students from University of Zimbabwe, 300 kilometers. You say each child, you've got 10 kilometers. Tell us what is required along this road. You create a dual road, not a single road. You make dual road. You put a filling station this way. You put a filling station that way. You say community run this filling station, community run that filling station. You build a lodge there, you put a mall, you put a bridge, and then over there, you put some little shops so that when someone is driving, when they're on that side of the road, there is a supermarket, there is a place to sit and drink coffee. You see, now when you're in Zimbabwe, you can't even drink coffee. You can sleep because you don't have anywhere to drink coffee. You create how many jobs on that road? So let's say 300 kilometers, you divide it into 50 kilometers, that is six stops, 6 big stops with filling stations on the way. And you multiply that by 2, one on the one side, one on the one side. That means you now have a big thing happening over there. You've got 6 bridges. Because you've got 6 stops, you must have 6 bridges at the top. People are crossing over, one on this side, one on that side. You create 2 roads, and each place you put a school on the side or something. You put development around what you're doing. It costs nothing. I can assure you it won't cost more than $1 million to add those things. But obviously, you have to do work. You have to do work. It's not easy. It's work that needs to be done. And it can be done. When you're in South Africa here, all the mining companies around them, there's development. There's no mining company where there's no development. I used to work for one of the biggest forestry companies in America. So I would go to many places here in South Africa, in Europe, in the United States of America. I would go to a place in America where the whole town worked at the company. I am not kidding you. You go to that place, and in rural America, there's no employment. And the whole town, when they are not at work, there's people. When they are at work, there is no one. Everyone is going to work. There's a hotel there. There's a place to eat. So people work, and then at the same time, the company is providing employment. So your road is not just going somewhere, it's a road which brings development. And at the same time, you're thinking of rail. So rail is important because the road is being damaged by the trucks. So you can't have a tender to Victoria Falls without fixing the rail, so that you have a train on that rail. But that's another project. That's why I'm saying Mnangagwa's vision is very small. There's nothing that needs to be done on the railway to Vic Falls except to cut the grass and to put a proper station on each place. So each of those places where I've said to put a filling station, you also put a train station over there, you already built it into it. Then we won't complain. We won't say Tagwirei is eating our money. We won't say Tagwirei is corrupt. You understand that we don't hate you, Tagwirei. We don't hate you, but we hate your works. You understand? Did you hear that part, Tagwirei? We don't hate you, but we hate your works. Your works, akaora, mabasa ako, akashiba. We don't like it. And I want to emphasize this point. Wana obey chimuka, wana nomeni chimuka, ana Masimba, uyu Masimba and Musowe, Mose Mesa, you're embarrassing to me. We don't want what you're doing. And don't think when you drive around in your Range Rovers, you're amazing. Amushamisi, muri backward, Jose Mesa. Dema muri vanu very forward. You're not going to do what you're doing now. Because when Mnangagwa gives you a tender, show him that you can deliver. Don't embarrass Mnangagwa with what they're doing. Because now Mnangagwa is to open garbage. What did you do at Mbudzi? What was that? I have been to many, many countries. If you go to Boston, I think most of you are not Tagwirei, you've been to Boston. Have you seen those roads in Boston? Have you seen the bridges, what they look like? Okay, let me bring closer. Go to Cape Town. Have you been to Cape Town? Have you seen how the bridges look in Cape Town? Have you seen how the roads look in Cape Town? There are also people like you in Cape Town. In my road, there was a guy who was building a road there. It took 3 years. He's still busy right now with that road. So when we give our people the contracts, they do the usual. We want the extraordinary. And the extraordinary doesn't come from work. It comes from planning, from design. So your design must be well. You must do a great design. So what am I saying? We need to work with the stakeholders. So I've talked for too long now. I'm worse than Makandiwa. I'm talking longer than Makandiwa. Yeah, I know Makandiwa is watching me because his friend, Mzembe, is in jail. Mzembe gave Makandiwa a very nice TV. And Mzembe is a nice guy. I met Mzembe here. I'll tell you a story about it just now. So let us finalize on this. Well, on stakeholder engagement, I'm giving you a chance, Tagwirei. Here's my number and your people. If you call me and you talk to me, we're going to call back the protest. But what we want to do, we want you to do what we're asking. We want you to change your plan. We want you to involve the community. We want you to stop building a road and to build an infrastructure for development. We want the road from Victoria Falls to Bedbridge to be the richest belt ever in our country, because our largest number of tourists come from there. So by the end of your project, we want to see development of unprecedented level at Hwange. So we want a space for a hotel there. We want a space for filling stations, lodges. We want a beautiful mall. So do you think an investor is stupid enough to come and put a mall on a road where there's nothing, where no one is going? Do you think someone is stupid enough to go to Hwange the way it looks now? Like some old thing from the past? My guys went there. We couldn't get transport there. There is no one who comes to those rich areas which have got more animals than any other place, because of the way that your government of Mnangagwa has failed to produce development. So if you guys call us, right, and work with us, we'll help you to redesign the whole thing and to work with the community. But we are having 15 days only. So between now and 27, we're going to be working with the stakeholders. We're not going to stop talking about this. So we're going to be going on. If you come and say, I'm willing, let us work together on designing for the community so that the community of Bulawayo becomes part of it. You are going to see how many people are going to come. Right now, there is no one who has not seen this message that you are doing a shoddy job and a corrupt job. So we want to turn this around. And as I'm saying to you, we don't hate you, we don't hate your family, but you are very corrupt. So the whole crew, or the whole Tagwirei group, you are very corrupt. We want you guys to go to the people and talk to the people and redesign this road. We want to see the actual design of what you're going to do. Don't just make a road with no diagram. Right now, Tagwirei has got no drawing of what is going to happen. They're just going to dig around and move soil and put surface. We don't want that. The same budget that you've got is sufficient to create all the things that I've described. So we want that design. We want you to go to the people and want you to develop and put, you know that there's fiber already which was put on the rail. Are you aware of that? Are you aware that a company, I think it's Dandemtande, have put a fiber all the way to Victoria Falls? But have you ever heard that anyone in that road has got fiber? Any school? Have you ever heard that any school have got fiber or any child has ever seen a solar light? So we don't want people who just come and take money from the communities and go away. That is what we expect from the guys from Yugoslavia. So if you guys are willing and work with the community, we'll leave you alone. But we're not going to leave you alone if you continue with your ways. What you've been doing right now must be stopped, and we're going to give you the necessary attention. Believe me, the chiefs don't like you. At Tagwirei, the chiefs don't like you. The local communities don't like you. And the only way you can help this situation, in fact, the people in the cities don't like you too, because they're so corrupt. Stop your corruption and start working with the people. So that is where we are. Stakeholder engagement is going to start today. We're going to go all the way up to the 27th, which is next Friday. And then the protest, as you are aware, will be on the 1st of July, which is Tuesday, the 1st of July. We have a national shutdown if you don't do what needs to be done, which is to do all those things in the letter of demand that we've sent out. You can go to gambako.com. It's right at the top. There's a letter that has been written to the chiefs, and it's clear. The letter has got no doubt. Go over there and read. What you're doing right now is not sufficient. You are not saving the people. You are just building a strip, and we don't want a strip. We want that is to be the richest area ever. You know, like when I go to Zambia, that's one thing that I don't enjoy about Zambia. When I'm driving from Kariba all the way to Chirundu, absolutely nothing there. When I'm driving from Chirundu all the way to Lusaka, there is nothing public for me. I can't even go to a public toilet. Well, maybe if I knew, I would go, but it's not obvious. If I'm in South Africa, I know that I'll go to one stop, I'll go to a two stop, and I'll go to a three stop. I'll spend my money there. And that's what we want. We want people to spend money in our communities, and we are not going to continue looking while you mess up. So, Tagwirei, as I said, you are on the spot. Obechimuka, you're on the spot. Don't think people like you when you just stand there with your Benz or with your Range Rover. No one cares. We're not impressed. Right, Standiwe, kuzapela one day, siyabonga mama. It's tough, but we'll get this done. Gambako revolution. No, this is more like Nyoka revolution. Remember, I am speaking on behalf of Nyoka because they got him arrested. I've got the mandate for Nyoka. Unfortunately, I have the difficult job of representing Nyoka when he's in jail. So what these guys don't understand is you can arrest Nyoka, but Nyoka's spirit will live on. You can arrest Gambakwe, but in fact, you can't arrest me. Zidzoro. Zidzoro, non sungiraji. I've never done anything. I'm totally clean. I've got nothing. Mnangagwa is garbage. Mnangagwa's vision is too small. Do you know that if Mnangagwa had people around him that had a vision, he was going to do well? The problem with Mnangagwa, he failed to get people who tell him, Mdara, you can't put Sean, Kuda, Auxilia, Emmanuel, all those Manawage 50. You can't put them in government. So you won't succeed because you are now running a family business. So Mnangagwa got poor advice, and now we're giving him good advice. If Mnangagwa doesn't do what I'm saying here, you will see this is the end of Mnangagwa. Victoria Falls Road to Bulawayo is going to end Mnangagwa. Mark my word. If Mnangagwa doesn't work on Matabeleland, tomorrow I'm going to give you more of what is done today. Mnangagwa is getting worse and worse. So you're going to see what is going to happen. Victoria Falls to Bakebridge Road is going to end Mnangagwa because so many people have died there. Do you know that last year alone, more than 50 people died on the road from Bakebridge to Bulawayo in huge numbers, like 20 people, 30 people in one incident. So we don't want it. And the people of Bulawayo, talk to MP. There's no one who's not in touch with me. Talk to MP, talk to a chief, talk to a councillor, reject what's happening right now. Let the Victoria Falls Road be the most developed first world road in our country. The money that they're planning to use is enough. There's no increase in budget. They just need to be forced to stop doing what they're doing. The reason why they're building this road is because of those 3 tourists who came and sat on a pothole. Let's force these guys to develop our country. Let's not allow them to continue what they're doing. By the way, who I'm displaying now is Sandra Tagwirei. I know she's watching. Sandra, stop corruption. That is why you're on US sanctions. She's on US sanctions. This lady that you're seeing here. Kudata Tagwirei is on US sanctions. Auxilia Mnangagwa is on US sanctions. Mnangagwa is on US sanctions. So these guys need to stop. Now, let me quickly go to the story of Walter Mzembe. I took this picture. Do you see him? I took that picture of him. Do you see who's on his left? Okay, those guys were communication for ZANU and government, and also Minister of Tourism. At that time, the Zimbabweans were being encouraged to go back home, and this picture was taken at the Embassy of Zimbabwe. So I went there to the Embassy of Zimbabwe. I was just starting my company, Kambaku Media. I just returned from the United States. And when I arrived here, the guys that came, and they were saying, young Zimbabweans, come back home. So we went over, we organized ourselves. We had a group of over 150 Zimbabweans that we created. And on this particular day, there was nowhere to sit. Everyone was over here. This was the height of problems for Zimbabwe, 2010, I think, soon after the World Cup. And Mzembe spoke a lot about what he called a democratic and peace dividend in Zimbabwe. So you see, guys, I started my company a long time ago. So what went wrong with Mzembe? What went wrong with Mzembe is when he came out and started living in the diaspora, he did not want to become part of the diaspora. It's the same with Seva Kasukuwere. They think they're part of the system. So Kasukuwere thinks he's part of the system. He thinks he's better than everyone. Mzembe thinks he's part of the system, is better than everyone. Grace Mugabe thinks she's part of the system, she's better than everyone. And Wes, Jonathan Zoro, he thinks he's actually part of ZANU. He doesn't understand why so many people are outside the country. But Mzembe is going to become part of the government once again. You're going to see it. He's going to become part of the government. He's going to be eventually co-opted back into ZANU. There's nothing wrong with ZANU. But what we have now is not ZANU. So ZANU PF is outside. They have been removed. And there's now a cabal or a cartel that is running the country. So the cartel has got the godfather, the godmother, the bouncers. So it's got everything. And people just get bought left, right, and center. However, one day someone is going to come and they will have to clear everyone out. So you're going to see this whole system is going to go. But let's start now. Let's start with this situation with the road at Victoria Falls. This is an outrage. What you're seeing at Victoria Falls is outrageous. You cannot build a road in a neighborhood with no one from that area. No one from Victoria Falls, no one from Hwange, no one from Dete, no one all the way to Bulawayo. No one is involved. The only people are coming from Harare. They drive their trucks all the way to that place. They start digging. They don't even ask you why they're digging. They finish and they go. They leave nothing. The day that Tagwirei is going to arrive, he's going to come when there's a road. He's going to pave it up and go and leave nothing. That's what we're rejecting. And that's why we're going to lobby as much as possible. We're going to lobby as much as possible. But I've said, if Tagwirei is willing, we can engage with us. We will help you. We really want that community to do well. We're not doing this for posturing. So we want to build a road that will be known in history as the richest belt. As I said to you, Bedbridge, the biggest border in the world, well, in South Africa, in Southern Africa. There's nowhere where you got more people than Bedbridge. All the way to Victoria Falls, you want to have a bridge that, or a road that when you think about it, you think of a superstructure with wealth. Like I told you, the gold in Matabeleland is like no other place in the whole country. They make more gold in Matabeleland than in any other place. They've got more tourism than any other place. But Hwange is being run by people with no primary school education. Like the guys who run Hwange, I was trying to engage them. It's as if they don't have education. The engineers, they've got no clue. There is no single diagram at Hwange of what is going to happen. There's no master plan at Victoria Falls. Right now, if you go to Victoria Falls, there's no master plan. The railway is there, the station is closed. The guys come from Harare to manage the station. So if you want to talk to someone at the NRZ at Vic Falls, you wait 3 days for the guy to come from Harare. We need this to be stopped. Guys, these days of tribalism and concentrating development on the side of Harare is over. And we start with Tagwirei. So Tagwirei, we're going to stop you if you don't get stopped by yourself. So if you don't stop yourself, we'll stop you. If you do well, if you do this well, people might even start liking you. Okay. All right, guys, I think I'm going to end this. I've talked too much. And by the way, let's look at Makandiwa. What did Makandiwa do today? I want to show you. I think my guys have published this. Sekuru Makandiwa is celebrating his birthday. Happy Father's Day. Is it happy birthday or Father's Day? Let me see what they posted. Sekuru Makandiwa, you are our fortress of wisdom, and upon which our family, in fact, you know that I don't go to church, right? So my church is Makandiwa's church. That's the only church I attend. Besides, we're not Taurus. That man can preach. Like, he can preach for a whole 2 hours or 3 hours. I watched his sermon, like just now, he just finished. And then Makandiwa, I watch him a lot. Sekuru Makandiwa, that's the father of Makandiwa over there. Happy Father's Day. You guys have never seen my father. I'll share you a picture of you with my father soon. You will see it's very rare that I take a photo with my father because Mnangagwa akandivarira kuti ndisapinde muZimbabwe. Mnangagwa aunyari kuvharira vanhu vakangwara kuti vasapinde muZimbabwe. Manje unoita sei? Manje uchaita sei Mnangagwa wasara nemapora ngoma ana Tagwirei vanongoda kurova bhanzi. If Tagwirei had a big vision, the country was going to do so well. But now we got a guy who only thinks about himself and making a few dollars. At the 1 billionaire in Zimbabwe, we want 20, 30, 40 billionaires. But they don't think that way. Even Tagwirei's wife, I don't think she's got money of her own. I don't think she's got a bank account. She probably gets money from him. This week you're getting 2,000, next week 3,000. He's got money, but kuomera zosemesa. Right, I think I've covered everything. And please go to Gambakwe. I saw Kuti, they just posted Kuti, Temba Mliswa got arrested. I don't know why they would arrest Temba Mliswa. Banabake 40. Wanosaranani. So our news readers have just posted, go check it out. Emam just were arrested. I don't know everything that happens on Gambakwe, guys. We've got a team, and currently Gambakwe is over 30 people working there. We're going to do well, but we want to do better. I want us to do well. I want Matabeleland to do well. What we are having now is a big chance. People from Matabeleland, we need to stop this project until they do it properly. My MPs of Matabeleland North, activists, chiefs, reject this strip that they're trying to build. Let's build the rail, let's build the roads, let's build the filling stations, let's build the lodges, let's make a dual road there. Our tourists are going to flock back. They are going to get bookings, they are going to get money, they are going to see gold mines. It will be amazing. Blawai will be back, Matabeleland will be back. Let's reject what they're doing now. Reject and stop Tagwirei until we come to the table. So Tagwirei, come to the table. Usatamba hako, Tagwirei. Hauna zera nini. All right, they should involve the locals. Not only the locals, they should develop an infrastructure. Mutuli ngube. Andidi kunzwa uchiti ngwe. Mutuli ngube. Obeti mpofu. You are in Binga. I don't want to hear you going there. You guys, you are in Matabeleland North. If you fail this project, you have failed the people. And West, you've got the Chiefs Council President among you. So we don't want this to fail. And we're not doing this for politics. We're doing this, we really want Matabeleland to do well. I would like to thank all of you for watching. And tomorrow morning, I've got another big story of what has happened in Matabeleland. It's big. Let's see if Auxilia is gone. Let's see if she's gone to Flare Summit. What has Auxilia Nangaba done today? Okay. Wiknochva Unosemesa. You know what Wiknochva has done today? Every time I open my TV, what do I see? I see Wiknochva trying to be Mnangaba's son. That is crazy. Let me see the twins. Let me show you guys what has happened today. This is shocking. Wiknochva, I'm your son again. So firstly, the twins, Father's Day to our leader, that is 2. I don't know why he's always with these 2. Where are the other kids? And then we got Wikino here. So you see these 2, they are his favorite kids. 2 times. And then look at this one. That's Wikino. Very sad. Let me look at Wikino. Say Wikino honors President Mnangagwa with heartfelt Father's Day tribute. Father Zungu. Zidumbu. Wikino. Satamani mdare. Right. And did you tambane Wikino? So I think it's clear. Guys, we've got a big fight ahead of us. Remember, Nyoka Mabunu is still in jail. We need to get this man out. And one of the things we're going to put on the table for these guys is they must release Nyoka. So we want you, Tagwirei, to come to the table. Let's talk, guys. I get calls, Munoku Kanganisa Nyika, image of the country. I don't want to hear that before Nyoka comes out. You are sending people to lie. You're sending people to make death threats on us. You're sending people to make fake videos about me working for intelligence. Do you think I work for intelligence? Do you think, when you're looking at me, do you think I would work for government and to be told when to go to the toilet and when to come back? Do you think I'm that kind of person? So stop it. Stop wasting money on intelligence operations in South Africa. If you guys do well with these projects, if Victoria Falls Road to Betby does well, almost everyone from Matabeleland will go back home. And you won't have to be afraid for power. But to continue this way, you'll see. You'll be running all the time. You will never know rest because you are not working for the people. And we are not saying do more, just do what needs to be done. Make Zimbabwe a modern country, a modern developed country. Right, I would like to thank all of you for watching, and I'll see you again tomorrow morning, first thing as I give you the trending news. And a good day to you all.
Push on the beat. Kamba kwe media kaone shakaitike kula wayo mayutaka kumbuka anzi kuma ndio anzi anopikisa wese tombate kwiyo yaiva herere machiritsa mchiro iri kutaura neanofunge poisi zvakawanda vamwe vanotigeza da kumisa zvigananda zviri kumedza ifanika anakonda taona pazokuda nanatironi komanda titakachambuka 2030 takabuka vachiratidza utsinye kunga amai asuka pesa nekusaida chiti anoridza luka asimatira mapoisi zvinhu zvaiti vaingoti takachamuka 2030 takabuka vachiratidza utsinye kunga amai asuka pesa nekusaida chiti anoridza luka asimatira mapoisi zvinhu zvaitika takaona vepasauthi pamukuwini mandela vachiimba kasol hanzi uyasidelela kula kwayo ichipwanya zvinhu hanzi siyangena vanhu vachinja unokuita kunge John Cena mayuti mumaroti vari kukanda matombo vasingoti siyangena vari kuchisa segena mayuti akakumbuka apa ziso rakatsvuka hanzi anotimisa tomubvisa mabhurukwa ngoti takachamuka 2030 takabuka vachiratidza utsinye kunga amai asuka pesa nekusaida chiti anoridza luka asimatira mapoisi zvinhu zvaiti vaingoti takachamuka 2030 takabuka vachiratidza utsinye kunga amai asuka pesa nekusaida chiti anoridza luka asimatira mapoisi zvinhu zvaitika makaone zvakaitike bula wayo mayuti akakumbuka hanzi koma ndio hanzi anopikisa wese tombate kwiyo yaiva herere vachiridza mchiro iri kutaura neanofunge poisi zvakawanda vamwe vanotigeza da kumisa zvigananda zviri kumedza ifanika anakonda taona pazokuda nanatironi komanda nenyaya dziri kupisa pasocial media uchida zvakawanda pinda kamba kwemidiya vanovhura dzese dzakaipa dzakadziya waise ayamato vaingoti takachamuka 2030 takabuka vachiratidza utsinye kunga amai asuka pesa nekusaida chiti anoridza luka asimatira mapoisi zvinhu zvaiti vaingoti takachamuka 2030 takabuka vachiratidza utsinye kunga amai asuka pesa nekusaida chiti anoridza luka asimatira mapoisi zvinhu zvaitika kaune zvakaitike bula wayo mayuti akakumbuka hanzi koma ndio hanzi anopikisa wese tomubate kwiyo yaiva herere vachiridza mchiro iri kutaura neanofunge poisi zvakawanda vamwe vanotigeza da kumisa zvigananda zviri